Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk live from the city of Angels, Los Angeles, here on this Sunday night. It's the big flagship show as we discuss box office and all kinds of goodies in the theatrical world because, yes, this channel is all about movies, not streaming. We do not do streaming here at MMT. Thanks for being here. I want to say this before we get started. Thank you to everybody who is here almost every single time. The loyal viewers and the people that have helped make this channel as smart as it is, I commend you and I thank you. I want you to know that as we get ready to roll into this. It does mean a lot to me. And again, thank you for being here tonight as we get into it. Let's talk about our number one story. It's, man, I'll tell you, this film. This is a film in Super Mario Brothers, the movie, that we thought would do well, but not like this. This is a huge outperform, not just a small or slight. This is a massive outperform. Look at the number there. 204.6 million in the States. That's domestic. And then you throw in the overseas cash and you're at 377 million globally. So this is way over projections. Projections for the 5-day were somewhere in the 140, 150 million dollar range. So we are 50 plus million over. This again speaks to what we've been talking about for the last how many weeks now? We are back in full in theatrical. It is 2019, 2018, 2017. It is all in as long as you give moviegoers compelling product. And then also, very important, that you have it be exclusive to theaters. You cannot say, here's our movie. It's going to be on streaming in 10 days, in 17 days, in 24, 30. You can't even acknowledge when it's going to be out. That's what Universal did here with Mario. They did announce it, actually, that is coming up. I wouldn't have done that. But let's talk about this number. Let's go into the actual email from Universal, and this will get you the real details of everything. Now, one thing I want to really dial in on here is that you're hearing this is the biggest opening ever animated wise. Remember, they are, for a lot of these things that there's a new records, they are taking the 5-day versus a 3. When you look at Frozen 2, which has the biggest opening, that was a 3-day debut, not a 5. But either way, here is what we're looking at. The biggest animated opening of all time, again, ahead of Frozen 2, that was a 3-day. This is a 5, but still 358 million there, and we're at 377.5 for the 5-day global. Biggest global opening of 2023 ahead of Quantumania. Biggest Illumination opening of all time, passing Minions, Despicable Me, and Despicable Me 2. Biggest video game opening of all time, passing Warcraft at 210 million reported for like markets. And number 4, biggest Universal day and date global opening of all time, behind Fast and Furious 8 at 543, Jurassic World 525, and Furious 7 at 398. So this is just a massive hit. Okay, guys, we know for sure, another thing I want to make note of here, it delivered the highest animated IMAX opening weekend of all time, global box office, 21.6 million in IMAX. We are continuing to see this over and over with films in the marketplace. Moviegoers are opting for the premium screens, whether it is IMAX, it's Dolby, it is 4DX, it is Prime, 3D, whatever it is, moviegoers are saying no to the traditional showtime, and they're asking for the premium viewing experience. So the more of these screens that we can get in play for any film, the better. And a lot of you came at me last stream saying, hey, these numbers we're seeing from the first week to the second week are really dropping off. And one of the reasons is these films are losing their IMAX. They're losing their Dolby. They're losing those premium screens. So it is an issue. I would, if I were AMC, if I were Regal Cinemark, I would add as many premium screens as they can get in the house right now. If you have 16 screens, you need to have 5 premium. Not 3, not 4. You need 5 minimum, because that is what we're seeing the marketplace dictate as far as sales. Now, I do want to also touch on this as you guys come in with your takes on Super Mario. because you've seen it now. You know, a lot of you hadn't seen the movie when we last talked on Wednesday when we did the stream, when it was early, showing that it's going to be a big outperform, but not as big as we're seeing here this evening. What'd you think of the movie? Because here's what I suggest, because we know we're getting to Super Mario 2, right? There's no question. It's happening. In fact, they're doing it tomorrow. They're going to start writing. Here's what I would do. If I'm Universal, I am kicking everybody who had anything to do with this film off of part 2. Every single person, except for the animators, they did a great job. Looks good, moves well, it's directed well. That's not the issue with the film. We're going to talk about a film coming up here tonight that I saw on Friday night that is a shit show of a film because it doesn't move well. It's not directed well. It's got so many issues. That's not Mario's problem. The problem with Mario is that the script is generic. It is not smart, but we still love the fact that it outperformed. But here's what I would do. I would do a reverse Lego situation. Lego 1 is truly untoppable. I mean, it's one of the best animated films of all time. Smart. Everything going for that film. The reveal in that film. And then you go to Lego 2 and you have a drop off like we haven't seen. Right? I mean, the level 1 to level 2 on Lego is literally like night and day. But that gets back to the people who wrote it. Lord and Miller wrote 1. They helped out in 2. They didn't write the whole thing. So what I would suggest, if I am Illumination right now, because they already have a deal, Universal has a deal with Lord and Miller. I know I say this so many. You got to make this happen, Universal. You have them in-house. You got a first look deal. They are producers on Cocaine Bear. How the hell they thought that was good, I can't answer. But Lord and Miller, I am getting them to write Super Mario 2. I don't care what it costs because the movie's going to make the money. We want a good film in number 2. The reverse Lego. Great 1, terrible 2. We have a very mid 1 at best in Mario, and now we need Lord Miller to amp this thing and give us a rare sequel better than the original. It's not going to take much. It is not going to take much to be a better film in 2 than 1, because this is not a great film. But we love the fact that it outperformed. Comments on Super Mario Brothers, then we got so much to do. Let's do comments on Mario, then we'll move along. Just wait until I can't wait. It's going to be fun when we talk about the film that I saw Friday night. Come in the comments and take a guess what it was. If you follow me on Twitter, you know what it was. I mean, this film, I cannot believe that IFC released it. You talk about Batgirling a film. It is the film that I saw. We go straight to our super chat here. Thank you for doing that. Right to the top of the comments when you get in there. We do that. Mega YouTube 99. Rise of Group, Puss in Boots, now Mario. Disney is in trouble. It's a great first comment here tonight. Smartest viewers out there, you guys. You guys are cinephiles within cinephiles. You get the business, you understand film, and that's what makes this show so much fun to do. Disney animation is in trouble. I mean, you go back, look at Strange World. For those of you who saw Strange World, that is not a good film, okay? There's so much, by the way, there is so much Strange World in Quantumania. But Quantumania is better, don't come at me. But Strange World, you look at Lightyear, Pixar has to have Elemental hit. They need a great film. The last great Pixar film was Soul. I think Soul has a few issues, like when he turns into the cat. That doesn't work. But everything else in that film, including the Reznor-Ross score, is top of the level, pinging the top of the meter, as we like to put it. But Elemental has to be big for both Disney and for Pixar because really they're one and the same, right? But Disney animation needs to get a course correction going here. So whatever is next in the pipeline, and frankly, I don't have it in front of me right now, but whatever it is, you got to get it right. Because you go back to Big Hero 6, you look at, obviously, Frozen, you look at the hits that they've had over the years. They've had some very good animated films come out of that studio. But they are on the ropes in comparison to Illumination. Illumination just seems to make films that are widely accessible, and you know I hate saying this, but I'm going to do it because it's the truth. You guys know it's not woke, and I don't want to go down the road. You guys know what I think woke is. I explained it to you last time. Don't ask me to explain. You guys know what that means. And that is a benefit for films that outperform because you don't alienate a specific portion of your viewing audience. You look at what's happened recently with Bud Light. Sure, you're following it, right? So they go and they put a sponsorship on that Dylan, what's his last name? Mulhaney? I don't even know. Honest to God, that was a mistake. But what happens is when you alienate part of your consumer group, you're in trouble. And that's what's happening here with movies like Strange World and some of these things. Disney's going down roads that a lot of people don't want to go down. Now, it's not to say that everybody is anti that thing. They just don't want it shoved in their face. That's the best way I can put it. And then, someone's going to turn around and say, well, they shoved heterosexuality at us forever. I don't want to go down this road. I'm already way too far down it than I wanted to go. But the point is what Illumination is doing is they are making films that are unobjectionable. Right? There's nothing in Mario that you go, well, I don't know. And I understand that's different for everybody, but my point is you don't want to piss anybody off. You want to keep the audience as big as possible when you're trying to make as much money as possible. Nike, same thing. They start, sponsoring people that are very controversial, and then you have a problem. So Illumination's getting it right. Disney's got to clean it up. Great first comment here on this Sunday night. Other comments here. Let's stick again right now only on 37. Yeah, right? Shazam. My God, Malcolm, how about that? It even looks that much worse after you see what happened here with Mario. And the funny thing is, remember, Shazam and everybody involved with it was like, there's all these reasons why it didn't work out because the movie's not good. That's one. Two, nobody wanted to see Shazam 2. Nobody asked for it. And then it looks even that much more embarrassing for Warner Brothers and for Shazam when you have an opening like this, because there are some people like, well, there's still a segment of the population that's scared. They're still fearful of COVID. And it's like, dude, no, they're not. Nobody is. Okay, I was over at the 16 multiple times this weekend, right down the street here in Burbank, the number one AMC in the entire world. Okay, that complex between the 16, the 8, and the 6. You're talking about the biggest grossing AMC complex between those three theaters in the entire country. And there were people of all ages, all sexes, all religions. I mean, you name it, all dressed up like Mario, Luigi, little kids dressed up. It was an event. This is an event film. And when you look at this, I'm going to pull it back to the TH article because this is very important. When you look at, let's switch tabs. When you look at this, look at who went to see this movie. It was a huge 18 to 34. Look right here. A whopping 60% of ticket buyers were 18 to 34. And by the way, for all the people that had an issue with my tweet when I saw this film on Monday night and I said, are you 8 years old? Because if not, you're not going to think this movie is good. And you're like, this is a movie for kids. Only kids like these movies. All these losers that come after me. And yes, losers. And they go, well, it's a movie for kids. Adults aren't. Oh, really? Then what about this 60% of ticket buyers that were between the ages of 18 and 34, you idiot? Sorry. Okay, we're going to keep it positive tonight. But this is why Twitter is literally a hellhole. Dealing with people that are disingenuous on arguments. It's a movie for kids. 60% of the buyers were 18 to 34. Are those little kids? I don't think so. Movie's not good. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's not, but it's also, thank you for that, Malcolm. It's also not a terrible movie. Grace Randolph, I didn't watch the whole video, but she called this film terrible. This film is not terrible. When we are talking about movies that are abominations, that are atrocious, you've got to save that. You got to keep it in the holster until it's time to draw and unload, okay? And those are films like The Whale, like Babylon, like Paint. We're talking about it in a few minutes. I know you guys are like, oh my God, why? But I need to get a lot of things off my chest about that film. That's when you unload. Not on Super Mario. It's not a terrible movie. It's not a great movie either. It's nowhere near it. Again, hire Lord Miller. Get me a part 2. That is great. That is ingenious, that is smart. Everything that the Lego Movie 1 was. And I said that. How many times have I talked about this? Lego Movie versus Super Mario. Because they're just in different universes. Okay, next thing, and then we'll go to more comments. Air. How great was it to see this film outperform? We knew that Amazon made a very smart decision when they decided to put this thing in theaters. As you may or may not know, Amazon's in the theatrical game. Guess who else is? Apple, over $1 billion committed to theatrical. Who is not? Everybody come into the comments. What streamer is still living in 2020? Everybody's at home. No one's going to movies. It's dangerous. If you go to a movie, you're going to kill everybody you know. That whole bullshit we lived through. God. Oh, okay. Anyhow. It's Netflix. They won't do it. But Air opens to $20.2 million for 5 days. Overseas, another like 10.5. It's over $30 million. Now, granted, it's a $90 million film. But what this does is it sets you up for a bigger bow on your streaming service because it has more cachet. You guys know it. Everyone admits to it. You are going to value a film that is theatrical over a streaming film 99.9% of the time. And Air, and credit to Amazon, they have not said when this film is going to be on streaming. They have just said, hey, it's coming to streaming. Of course, it's going to be on Prime. But right now, you don't know. So this is a really strong opening for a 5-day, $20 million for an adult drama. And again, the big thing that Amazon has going for it is the mystery and keeping the cards close and not saying, hey, by the way, here's our hand. We're going to have it on streaming in 10 days. Do not do that. No studio should do that. If you're in the business of making as much money as possible for your film, you need to keep that like you're playing poker. You don't tell anybody when it's going to be on streaming. And if they ask, you say, we don't know. Even if you know it's going to be on streaming the next day, you're like, we don't know when it's going to be on streaming. We have no idea. Remember Warner Brothers, all those HBO Max things? Oh my God. They announced it. They're going to be day and date, and then it kills the box office. You know what film got destroyed by that? Well, there's so many. Matrix was, my God, talk about a terrible film. Matrix Revolutions, what the hell was that one called? And also, Suicide Squad, another one that got detonated by the fact that they put it on day and date at the streaming service. You can't do those things. So this is, it's a 1-2 punch this weekend. You had the 4-quad family extravaganza in Mario that also did crazy numbers with 18 to 34. It's a movie only for small little kids, Eric. It's not meant for you. What about the 18 to 34-year-olds that went to it and said, this movie's not that good, you fool? Yes, you're a fool. Bring it. If anyone, come into the comments and tell me who those people were, because I would like to destroy them here because they're just dumb. God, I do not suffer fools like that. It's a kid's movie. Not adults are going to see it. 18 to 34, 60%. You're a fool. Sonic the Hedgehog, the previous opening crown holder, by the way, $72 million. This is way bigger. For video game adaptation, this is the biggest ever. The biggest ever. Dungeons & Dragons dropped 61%. We knew that would happen because it's the same, market as Super Mario. So we knew that was going to happen. Also, I want to talk about this, a movie that I'm going to get right into right now. It's called How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's Neon, okay? Now, it's only in 10 markets right now, 10 locations. New York, LA, probably Chicago. I didn't see all the other cities, but it's going to be basically just the main cities. This is a good Neon film, okay? This is, let me pull up, and at least I can have the trailer in the background while I talk about it. This is a film that impresses from a directorial standpoint. And when it comes to your town, you need to see How to Blow Up a Pipeline. It's got so much good going for it. Is it a perfect film? No. It's got Antifa threads running through it without question. You might have an issue with that. You might not agree necessarily with the politics of it, but that's not what we're doing here. We're talking about the filmmaking that I see here from this director, Daniel Goldhaber. He does a really strong job. It's shot on film. It's got a very nice grain look to it. It's edited very well. It's told well. From a screenplay perspective, 3 writers on this. All 3 really turn out a script that tells the story in a non-linear fashion, very smart. But the real star of this film is the score. We talk about this, it's a big thing for me. Score is essential for a film. If you do not have a strong singular score attached to your film is going to be worse than it could be. And when I look at this Gavin Brivik, I would hire this guy in a nanosecond. Right now, I am hiring Gavin to do my next score. This is an OPN kind of thing, right? Go back to Good Time, go back to Uncut Gems. It's very much in that vein. It propels the film forward, this pulsating electronic score. It is everything to how to blow up a pipeline, and you need to go see this film. You will like it, especially if you're into strong direction and strong independent film. This is a good film. Now, conversely, we have our next film, which is not a good film. This is one of the worst films easily of the year. This is one of the worst films I've seen in a theater in many years. This is the definition of a poorly directed film. It is Paint by IFC. This is Owen Wilson playing Bob Ross-esque character. Now listen to this. You ready for what this film's about? You've got Owen Wilson playing this Bob Ross. For those you don't know, he's a PBS, painter way back when everyone watched PBS. We're supposed to believe that now in 2023 that this Carl Nargle is still the number one public television painter and people watch his show every day. We're supposed to believe that conceit right off the bat. And you go, okay, that's not going to work. But that's not the problem with the film. That's one of the minor issues with this film. The problem with this film is the script is, and I use this word and people go, you can't use it. We need to stop having guys use the word cringy. Too bad. I will use it. You will not police me. You can't stop me. This movie is cringy AF because the script and the jokes fall with a thud, and the direction and the editing is an embarrassment. This is truly a film that IFC should have thrown in the trash. I would not have released this. I would have sold it to Netflix because Netflix would have probably thought Paint was good. Given what they put out, they'd be like, Paint, this is a good movie. We want to pay you for this. And I'd be like, hell yeah. I mean, well, maybe we can come up with a deal. God, yeah, it's like selling a lemon for a car. Listen, there's other people that are interested. This movie and Owen Wilson, I don't know what made him say, let's do this film, but it's terrible. This is a bad film. All right, comments. Let's go to it. I know none of you saw Paint, so I know that we're not going to get any Paint comments here tonight. Dulce, good evening to you. Nostalgia made Mario break records. It was a combination of that nostalgia, right? People that grew up with the NES, grew up with Mario, and the young kids, because it's a safe family movie. And it's, I hate to say it, here it comes again, it's not woke. And that is a good thing for box office. So here's the real dilemma for any business going forward. And you look at a Bud Light, you look at a Nike, you look at, Disney, what they've been doing, a lot of this stuff, is if you're going to go down that road, and there's no one saying you can't, okay? That's not what you need to understand what we're discussing here. When you're going to go down that, quote, woke road, okay? You guys know what I'm saying? You're going to alienate part of your audience. So the question is it worth it? Do you want to lose money for, really stating the values? And there's nothing wrong. No one's saying that you can't do that. But when you do that, there is going to be an alienation. And if you don't have a problem with that, it's okay. But if you're Disney, I would watch it. I mean, look what's happening to Bud Light. I was at the store the other day, no joke. And now you pay attention. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm paying more attention. There was so much Bud Light. I have a picture. I didn't even send it out. I have never seen more Bud Light. It was stacked into the aisle. They had so much of it. It was like, I can't even get my cart through. There's too much Bud Light. You don't think that has something to do with their decision? Of course it did. Soul was very good. Soul's a great, in fact, I would argue Soul's a great film, especially when it pings the top. It goes way above. It goes through the roof in a spiritual level. That film broke me. And then when you have that final song by Reznor Ross, Something Us. Oh, man, if you guys just let those credits roll and listen to that composition. Oh my God, that will shatter your soul. It's a very, very strong film. And I'm so disappointed that film was not theatrical because that was in the middle. Yeah, you guys know. Good. I'm glad because there's some people who say Soul's not good. And I go, okay, I can't trust you. Right. There's certain films we can't trust when they say Soul's dumb. Soul didn't work. What? No, no, no. You can say about Luca because I don't think Luca's great at all. Paint for Best Picture. That's not happening. That is Owen Wilson will not be up for Best Actor. I mean, for Razzies, we're gonna do, by the way, halfway through the year. We're not quite there. We're only in April. But when we get to that halfway point, we're doing the worst films of the year so far and the best films of the year. I don't care. You can't stop me from doing a worst of list. There's no chance you can stop me. None. By the way, let's do it right now. For those of you who haven't been here before, this is something we do every Sunday night, or at least the Sunday nights that I am inspired and I find a good candidate. Remember, you guys are always good for this. You need to come to me with people that you recommend for this segment. Tonight, it took me a second, and I was thinking, like, who's going to be our shill of the week? Now, for those of you who don't know, the shill of the week is the movie critic that does not pan movies. Rarely, if ever. They are in the business of propping up as many films as possible so they can go to premieres, so they can help sell tickets, so they can be part of the Hollywood machine. The rest of us don't give a shit about that stuff. I definitely don't. But our shill of the week tonight is a little bit different. It's a little bit of a choice. You're going to have to listen to my reasoning as I tell you who it is. Because once you flip the switch and you go from movie critic to writer-director, you effectively cut off your balls from a critical standpoint. You no longer have the ability to take films to task because you are now afraid that you might be working one day with somebody you just destroyed their film. And that's not a good position. Our shill of the week this week is Chris Stuckman for that very reason. Now, someone mentioned this to me the other day because I think I've told you about Chris Stuckman, and this is not a personal thing. Remember, these attacks, if you want to call them that, are never personal. They're very specific. So I don't say, I don't like Chris Stuckman because he has an ugly face, which I don't even believe. But my point is it's not going to be that kind of stuff. It's going to be very pointed, very specific. Okay. When Chris Stuckman decided to become a director, a writer-director, he's coming out with this film. When you make that switch, you cannot, and go and look. In fact, here's what I did. Before I was going to do this, I said, let's go look at Chris Stuckman's Rotten Tomato page, which he has plenty of things to review. And here it is. And look, first of all, to prove my point, the last time there was something updated was Dune, which was 2021. I was last year. My God, it's been almost 2 years. Okay. That's the last time he updated it. So what you're going to see now from him, and go watch his reviews, you're not going to see a savagery on the films because he is a director, writer now. And what happens is once you make that leap and you switch to that, you are afraid of cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're afraid of saying something about someone in this town that will get you to not work with them, right? Because that's what it would take. I mean, think about this. Hey, we like Eric Weber. He's great. Let's put him in this movie. Wait. He said that Babylon was one of the worst movies he's ever seen. I mean, do you think Damien Chazelle is going to hire me for? No, but I don't care. I don't want to because I don't want to. Why would I even do this show if I was trying to do that? So I think the challenge for Chris Stuckman, and this is a minor shill of the week, but it still is technically a shill of the week, is the challenge is if he's going to continue being a critic, a movie voice, the challenge is for him to remain absolutely unafraid to go after films that are bad, not to temper the reaction, not to sugarcoat things, to fully savage unload the gun on the film when it's time, like a Paint, like a Babylon, like a Whale, like a Cocaine Bear. You got to do those things. If you are not doing those things, then you are not a voice that is of value, and he has a very big audience. So that is something he has to take into mind. If you're going to continue to do that, you got to still do that. You got to be a hardcore badass. You cannot play nice. Otherwise, there's no reason. Stop being it. Stop being a critic. Just drop out. Go make your movie and drop out because you don't have any more value. Fair? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. If you don't, tell me. I have no problem with that. I called it the moment it was announced that it would be the biggest movie of the year. We're talking about Mario. Yeah, Mario, we knew it would be huge, right? 150 for 5 would be very good, but 200 plus. And remember, this is still going to do numbers this week. Kids are going back to school largely because today is Easter. Obviously, happy Easter to those of you that celebrate. And you look at the kids going back to school next week. Most kids will be back, so the numbers won't be as big during the week. They'll still be good, though, because remember, there's 18 and 34-year-olds going to see this, 60% of the audience. Now, I do think that number is going to squeeze down because, remember, the number one thing that happens now in the multiplex, the reason we're seeing these huge drops from weekend 1 to weekend 2 is because people have FOMO. They want to get on to Twitter. They want to get on to hear the stream and talk about the things that they've seen. And if you haven't seen the film, you cannot get in the conversation. So that's why we're seeing everybody rush out to see a film opening weekend. And I think that's going to be the trend for any of these big films. Now, a film like Air, different. That will not have the drop off that you see with all these other big blockbuster kind of films because that doesn't have, the older audiences don't feel like they have to be there opening weekend. They can see it weekend 4. I mean, 80 for Brady. Did it matter if you saw it opening weekend or now on streaming? No, it doesn't. Except that we obviously want to support theatrical. But that's the difference between a movie like Air that'll hold well versus any other film. But I would suggest Mario will hold better than we've seen Marvel and all this because it is a film for little kids, and little kids love to go to movies with their parents. Parents take their kids. It's a thing to do. Now that the weather's getting nicer, it'll be a little bit more of a challenge, but it'll still hold up pretty well. And look at John Wick just passed 300. Was it 300 million worldwide? 300. I mean, we know we're getting John Wick 5. I wish we weren't going to do that. We talked about that. Listen, we were ahead of that curve, way ahead of it. When I came out of that film, part 4, like weeks before it opened, I told you the number one challenge for Lionsgate is to say no to a part 5 with Keanu Reeves. Keanu needs to say no to part 5 because that film ends perfectly. There is no reason to, I know it's already in production. It didn't matter. I know. But you're talking about Mario. But there's no reason to make a part 5 John Wick. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me you're right. There's no reason. There's nothing that you can do. Now, that's not to say there isn't a way to come up with something, but it better be amazingly brilliant. Because if it's not, then you're just trashing the legacy of this nearly perfect part 4. Best film of the franchise. I mean, no contest, right? None, 0. So now you're going down. That's what I always say about Endgame, right? If you bring Tony Stark back, you tarnish the legacy of that film. At the end of the day, though, let's face facts. Money is everything to a lot of these people. Certainly to Hollywood. And if they see a chance to make cash, they will take it. The problem is creatively, you are in a bad space. And it's weird because that's just how I think. I'm more of I don't want to trash something. That said, we come on the show all the time and trash things. So, I mean, it is good box office. Gore, I know you're excited about this because it's fun to be out and see crowds. You know, Gore comes into the theater. We went to see How to Blow Up a Pipeline last night at the 16, and it had a really good crowd. I mean, it was like 60% full. And I know that's, you're saying to yourself, that's like not sold out. I get it. But here's the thing. It's a small neon film. So here in LA, that's going to do really well. I'd say it was probably 70% full. And then Gore walks in and goes, "Did you see the lobby?" I said, "No, I've been in here. I got there super early and was sitting down on my seat, just like chilling." And he said, "No, the lobby's slammed. And it's like kids, adults, everyone's dressed up Mario. And then you go out and it's like a party." That atmosphere is electrifying. I love to see it. You know that's what we're all about. We're all about anything that keeps movies going. And all those people that said, movies are dead, no one's ever going to the movie theater again. Like, didn't that dude from Collider, that Frosty guy, remember him? He was one of the biggest whiners out there. He's not the shill of the week. He's the shrill of the week. "Oh, it's dangerous, everybody. Don't go see a movie." How about you do me a favor? You stay home because I promise you no one's going to miss you. Nobody is going to miss you. You stay home. Because that's what we're going to do going forward. We're not going to listen to the whiners anymore. We're going to push forward like we always have, and that's what's happening now. No more of that. The next time anyone tries that shit, I'm telling you, I'm shutting it down from day one. I'm not playing the game ever again. I don't care if it's scanners and people's heads are blowing up in the street. We're not playing that game again. And the more of you that agree to that, then we don't have to deal with that shit again. But that guy, oh, it's so dangerous. Put your mask on. You're going to kill everybody. And then they pretend they didn't do that. Screw you for doing that. You're a shitty person for doing that. You really are. Because I don't go through my life telling you how to live your life. Okay? Sure, about movies a lot. I'm very opinionated. But I'm not going to go through and say, you should wear a mask all the time. Shame on you for not wearing a mask. Shame on you. That's not your job. Your job is to stay in your fucking lane. Okay? Stay in your lane. Never again. Fuck. All right. That guy's such annoying. He's so annoying. Is Paint worth seeing or is bad as good? No, it's not. Film fan, it's not bad good. Okay? That is different. That is a film like The Forgiven. For those of you that missed it, it was a film that was out last year. I saw it twice. It's so bad, it's fun. This is not that. Paint is bad, period. It's cringy, the entire film. It makes you just literally go, why was this released? And who is this director? So I can write down the name and never hire this person to do anything again. This is a career killer of a film. Paint, if you show that to me as an executive, I say, who is the director? Don't ever even bring his name up to me again. This film is horrifically bad. That is what this film is. Oh, Midnight in Paris is great. Kusama, you have very good taste. Midnight in Paris is fantastic. That whole trilogy. After Midnight, Midnight in Paris. Oh, well, no, sorry, my bad. I'm getting them all confused. After Midnight, Before Midnight, yeah, that trilogy is great. But Midnight in Paris, thank you. They all start to blend. That film has some of the highest rewatchability factor of any film that I can. If you name, what film have you watched more than any film that's like not obvious? Like I Drive, Social Network, right? Real Genius, the films you know I love. I'm gonna say Midnight in Paris. Forget again, Woody Allen. Let it go. Just let it go for a second. Midnight in Paris is so just joyfully entertaining, and it just has a feel about it, this effervescence to it that just brings you up, lifts you up, as opposed to people that try stay home and don't kill everybody. Those people bring you down. This lifts you up. Great call on Midnight in Paris. Great call. You guys are all like, you just called it. I don't care. Whatever, Stuckman. Like I'm not afraid of any of these people. Whatever. That's why I have this show. So I can go off. Is he weird now? I don't know. I don't watch the show. I told you what I think about Stuckman. He puts me to sleep. He's boring. He's milquetoast. He is. Listen, that's not mean. Mean is saying that person's, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of the things I say might sound mean, but they're not really. He's just boring. I didn't say he's dumb. That's mean. Boring is not mean. It's true, isn't it? I don't know. To me, it is. Maybe your truth is different. We all have different truths. Maybe you like the people that shamed you. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Not. I saw John Wick 4 again today. It's still in the top 5 action films all time. Gone Girl, yes, as long as you have it behind The Raid and The Raid 2. I don't have a problem. If you have it ahead of The Raid and The Raid 2, can't do it. Can't go there. But I can put it in the top 5. I mean, top 3 for me. I'd have to really think on. Dread's up there too. Dread's great. God, Dread in 3D. We've talked about this before. If you have not seen it, you need to go see Dread in 3D. If they ever show it, you need to drive to Vegas like Gore and I did to see Tenet. Did we tell you about that? It's worth it. It is literally worth a 4-hour drive to watch hypodermic needles float around in your face. And then Dredd, pull out his gun and it's right in your face in 3D. And then you've got, what was the name of the gal that's in 300? She's in it too. She's the bad guy. I haven't seen that movie since 2012, 2013, because I don't want to see it again. I saw it in 3D. I don't ever want to see it again. No, just leave John Wick 5. Oh, wait, why did he stop moving? I don't know. I don't know Whiplash. I'm just saying with Stuckman, People have told me I don't watch his videos because he puts me to sleep. But they tell me that his videos, he doesn't go after these films as much. Because he now is part of the Hollywood system. And when you're part of the Hollywood system, you can't do what we do here. I am not part of the Hollywood system at all. Okay. And I still go to the events, but I don't even when I go into the critic screening, I don't even want to talk to half the critics. Because honestly, I told you guys before, half the critics are not good at what they purport to do. They're just not that great. Okay. So I don't even want to, it's fine. It's okay. I actually like hanging out with people like Gone Girl, man. Wonderful, smart. The people that hang out at our movie tour, Gore, he's okay. Gore's okay. He's kind of, sometimes he comes in and I don't want to see him and I kind of hide and hunch down on my seat. I don't want to see the Shill of the week. It was, yeah, oh, wow. You guys are all coming after me. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. We're not going to back down. We're not going to. I know. I'm big. Listen, here's the thing. You guys know that when it's time to go, I'm going to go full on. That's just what. There's no way to do it. I'm not going to pull back. It is what it is. I'm not afraid of saying what the thing is. That's fine. It's okay. People talk crap about me 24/7. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing what you're doing. If I say something about Chris Stuckman or Frosty or what, move on. Who gives a crap? It's my opinion. Get over it, man. Get over it. I don't lose sleep over this stuff. Real Opinion Paint was so bad I was actually losing my mind, laughing like the joy. You saw it? Did you see it? It's so great example. That's true. Firestarter is so bad it's good. Great example. But Paint is bad and bad. It's not a bad. It's a bad and almost unwatchable. It's you cringe for everybody who said yes to the film, including what's his name who plays Hank on Barry. I still haven't finished Barry. I need to watch. I love season 1 of Barry. Was one of my favorite seasons of any show. I don't watch a lot of shit because we don't talk about streaming. But what's his name? The guy from Office Space. Him. He's in Paint. I'm like, what's he do? Oh, you guys made a terrible decision being in this movie. Greasy Guido. Collider only existed because they were the only game on YouTube for a while. Solo creators ended them. Are they still around? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't pay attention. We play in our own little, playground. We play in our own little sandbox, as it were. Superhero movies. Good to see you again. Super Mario Brothers is a type of movie that people bring a whole bunch of kids. Yeah, 100%. It's good that they don't give a damn about the film because the film is so flat. This film, come on, guys. Don't come in. No one, by the way, has come in and said Mario Brothers is amazing. Nobody. Everyone said, I had a decent time with it. It looks good. It's not the worst film ever made. These are all true, but these aren't good things. You guys aren't coming in here going, oh my God, Mario Brothers, I loved it. Like you did for Air. Everybody who comes out of Air is like, this movie's amazing. I love it. It's my favorite of the year. Well, of course, because it's very, very good. Not Mario. Mario is like, it's over and you already forgot it. What a wasted opportunity Mario was. Again, remember, we can still celebrate the fact that it made $377 million worldwide. And say that it was a total disappointment from a creative standpoint. Those we can do both. That's what we do. You can root for theatrical and then say the film is totally forgettable and a total disappointment, 100%. Joey, you're asking to be banned from the chat already because you say Air was boring. Joey, listen, I totally disagree with that because the beauty of Air is that it's a story you already know how it ends, but yet the way that Affleck tells the story, because he's very good at directing. Look at Argo. Look at The Town. He's very good at a director. He's not necessarily the flashiest director, but as far as telling a story, which is obviously a very important part of being a director, he does very well. And as such, Air tells a story that we already know how it's going to end, and yet we get to that place and we feel like it feels fresh. And when it happens, you're like, you're kind of surprised. Oh my God, they actually did land Jordan. Well, of course they landed Jordan. We had Air Jordan. We know that it happened. But because of the skill set of Affleck, and I think it comes partially from being an actor, right? Remember, when you're an actor, you're around all of these. Think about all the great directors that he's worked with over his career. When you spend your time around someone who's good, you get better because you are going to absorb that knowledge, right? Imagine working with a Nolan, with a Fincher, which obviously he did work with Fincher and Gone Girl. When you're around people like that, Did he work with Nolan? My God, honestly, I'm trying to think. Did Affleck work with Nolan? There's probably something like so obvious, and I'm going to go, my God, yes. But when you look at that, he's sitting around Fincher. When you watch, first of all, you're going to learn one thing from Fincher: take 78 takes of every single scene. We're just going to have you walk over to the door, but we need to have you do that 79 times. And then on the 79th time, I want you to shake your head a little bit as you. That's how Fincher apparently shoots. Conversely, Clint Eastwood's like, let's get the shot. That's good. One take, we're good. Next scene, roll next. That's, can you imagine the difference working with an Eastwood and a Fincher? You'd lose your mind. Because that's what most actors say working with Fincher, is that he breaks you down so much, you just like start to lose it. But that's what he's trying to do, so that you just let it go. When we talk about this stream, go back and watch some of the earlier streams. We're holding back a little bit. Now it's like, boom, I don't care, do it. Because when you're not, you're just letting it rip. You're not thinking about it. You're just going as fast as you can, and trying to, make sense at the same time, which doesn't always happen here. That's better than to be overthinking it, right? I had an acting teacher. Yes, I took acting classes many years ago. He said, throw it away. And I go, what do you mean throw it? I don't have anything in my hand. What are you talking about? I have nothing to throw away. Throw it away. What you're saying, throw it away. Don't be like, are we going to the movie tonight? You're like, are we going to the movie tonight? Throw it away. Throw it away. Okay. So that's where you're in your best spot. That's what Fincher's trying to get you to. And I don't doubt that he probably sees, even though it sounds crazy, that between take 1 and take 78, there are very minor differences. If we went back and started this whole stream again, it'd be a completely different stream, because frankly, I don't know what the hell's going to happen at any minute. I barely have a sketched out outline of what happens here. Then the comments come in, and you guys, I don't know where we're going. I don't even have no idea. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Omega Swiper. Let's go. Physique critique on Jack Black is mean. Exactly. If I were to go physique critique on someone who looked like the Whale, that's not good. But when we say this person's a shill, that's not mean. Because the reality is, am I just randomly attacking a critic? No, we're picking out a shill like Erick Davis. Or in this case, I said it's a minor shill in Chris Stuckman. We're giving him advice that if he's going to continue to stay in the review game, he cannot pull punches. He has to be the same person he was. I don't know. I haven't watched it. But you know what I'm trying to say. You can't hold back. You must be unafraid to step into the hole and to say, this is what it is. And if you are afraid, imagine if I were afraid of my first reaction from Super Mario. Are you 8 years old? Then you're not going to like this movie. Oh, look at you out there saying this. And then I don't care. Like I care. I told you guys, Licorice Pizza was not a good film. It's not even a cohesive film. It's a bunch of series of scenes that barely string together. It's PTA's. If it's not as worse, Inherent Vice is not a good film either. Oh my God. Between those two films, listen, but then you turn around. I've got Phantom Thread behind me. Magnolia. Obviously, Boogie Nights. The Master is one of my favorite movies of all time from PTA. It might be my number one. So it's not always about, but you're allowed to have a bad film. And Licorice Pizza is by far his worst. If not, it's that or Inherent Vice. One of the two. Neither one is good. Dark Knight and T2 are better than The Raid. Watch out. Sodfic, watch out. I will block you. I mean, these are good films, but The Raid, you need to go watch The Raid 2 again. So we are going to crowdsource this. And I mean this because I talked to some people. I really want to make this happen. It's a dream that I have, and I want to share it with you. We've talked about it before. The MMT Theater, or some version of a screening room here in LA that we have that is small, that we show movies like The Raid 2. Like every Friday night, we watch The Raid 2 at midnight. That's our midnight screening. We're doing it again. Yes, it's like Rocky Horror. They're like, what? You're watching? Yes, we're watching The Raid 2 again at midnight on Friday. And I'm telling you, we'd sell it out. We'd just like 25, 30 seats. How much would you pay? $10? 15 to come in. Okay. You can sneak in a drink. We'll let you bring a drink in. And you can watch The Raid 2. We would show movies like that. We wouldn't do what Quentin did. Quentin Tarantino is older than me. So his memory of theater is different than mine. I'm Gen X, 80s. We would show Crawl. We would show Real Genius. We would show The Fog. We would show, name another amazing 80s movie that's not obvious. I've got a zillion. They're just, we would show The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. Just random films. That's what I want to do. Just help me make it happen, please, guys. How can we crowdsource? Give me some ideas. What do I consider to be bad directing? Paint. When you watch Paint, this is a perfect time. You have 2 homework assignments. I'm going to tell you right now because I'm going to get to it at the end, but I know if I don't, I'm going to tell you right now. Homework assignment number 1, and this is the real homework. You need to go watch How to Blow Up a Pipeline to see how a film is directed well, to show how choices are made that are strong, and especially for that score that elevates a film. That is the number 1 takeaway from this film that you need to go see. When you watch it, I want you to pay attention to the score and to understand that as you're there, that is why the film is rolling up on the scale. You're going higher and higher because the score makes everything stronger. And that's why that's your homework. The other homework assignment, if you want, you can wait for streaming on this. Because Pipeline looks good on a big screen. It's got the shot on film. It's grainy. It's just got a really nice lived-in feel to it. You need to watch Paint because that, to your question, is what is terrible in direction. I saw 2 films back to back, one with terrible direction and one with unbelievably strong direction for what it is, for a small indie film. But you're asking me what makes bad directing bad editing? He helped write the script, so that's a big problem. Boring shots. I mean, there's a scene where he goes through in Paint where Owen Wilson is in a van. He lives in a van. Okay, I know you're laughing. So funny, right? He lives in a van. And for some reason, the women find him attractive. Owen Wilson living out of a van, painting on a PBS station, but yet these women are falling over and opening their legs. Freddie, let's go. Come get me. Come get me, PBS painting guy. I mean, come on. The whole movie is just a joke. But he's in the van and he's grabbing, ready for this? This is funny. He's grabbing the newspaper that has a story in it that he doesn't want anybody to see. So he's stopping his van and he's getting the newspaper from everybody's door and everyone's driveway down the street in the middle of Vermont. I know, just hilarious. But the editing of that scene is actually possibly worse than... What editing was the worst that I maybe have ever seen? Come on, guys, help me here. What movie? It's pretty much as bad as that, if not worse. What movie has the worst editing? Yep, The Gray Man. Thank you, Malcolm. Malcolm, did you even know? Exactly. The edits are terrible. And this film does what The Gray Man does. It's really embarrassing. Malcolm, this is exactly right. Why of all the nights, that's fine. I'll do it, Kevin. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second, guys. I know the stream's still on. I moved it. I literally moved the box. Here it is. I got it. I know it should always be at my beck and call, so I apologize for that. Here it is, everybody. The Gray Man. Thank you. Malcolm, thank you. This is what bad directing is. This piece of trash film. It's bingo. This is a bingo card. Which one do you want? We can have, if I show you Gosling, that's 1 square. If I show you Evans, God, Evans is so bad in that film. He's so miscast. Done. There it goes. Kevin, why'd you make me do it? Bohemian Rhapsody's not a very well directed film too, but remember that's a reshoot. You had Singer in there, and then you had what's his ass. You had both. So that's right. No, it's a popcorn box. That would be amazing. Oh my God, how great would that be if there was the Gray Man cereal like they used to have in the 80s? They had Gremlin cereal. I used to eat Gremlin cereal from what company? Ralston. You have what? Yes, Ralston cereal. They had Gremlins. We had Robin Hood cereal. We had Pac-Man cereal. Of course, not really a movie, but we're thinking of just tie-ins. They were all Donkey Kong cereal. Help me out with some other ones, guys. But my favorite of all time is Gremlins. I mean, because I think it had marshmallows. There was like little gizmos, and then there was marshmallows. Yeah, Kuzma, that's correct. That is correct, sir. You are correct. Mr. T cereal. That's right. That's, all the callbacks to 84. That montage, you start with Money for Nothing. If you haven't seen Air, you got to see it. Money for Nothing, Dire Straits, and then you go into that montage of everything that happened in 84, Reagan, obviously, and all the other things. I got to watch it again. I can't remember half of it. But yeah, the Mr. T cereal, that was another one. You guys understand, the A-Team was like the biggest deal. When we were kids, like the A-Team was on, you're like, holy shit, B.A. Baracus and Face and Hannibal. My God, the A-Team. These shows were everything to us. I used to watch Airwolf. Okay, now I know I'm totally revealing. Batman cereal, Spider-Man cereal in 97, CP3Os or C3PO. Addams Family cereal for real? There was a Batman versus Superman cereal that was probably on the clearance aisle at Walmart really fast. Like that was in the 188 pile, right? Everything at Walmart's on clearance is like 180. Don't you always go down the Walmart thing, right? The clearance aisle. Like, I don't really need this item, but yet it's only $1.98. Knight Rider cereal. Knight Rider was amazing, Sham K. Is about to go full stream without mentioning his shirt. Oh, no. Okay, sorry. My bad. Yeah, tonight's shirt is Orlando City, which, by the way, I used to live in Orlando. So for those of you who are tuning in from that city, welcome to the channel. Also, I want to mention we matched it all, right? It's all purple tonight. I think it's good. And also, it's Easter. Easter's purple and pink. It was either going to be purple pink. I haven't worn Orlando City in a while. So thank you. All right, we only have a 5-minute warning. I'm going 1 hour tonight. I'm exhausted. I played volleyball, guys, no joke, for 5 hours today. 5 hours. At some point, I will stream. You guys will die. I will stream one of my beach volleyball matches. You guys are like, what the hell is going on? Who is that? Why is that guy so loud? Why does he have such short shorts? I mean, you guys would be like, I don't even know what's happening. I have no idea what's going on. No, I'm not. There's no way I'm going to. In fact, Gore brought this up. That Mafia Mama looks terrible. What the hell was Toni Collette thinking? What was she doing when she got that script? She's like, yeah, that looks funny. This Mafia Mama, where she's a regular woman and all of a sudden she's the head of the mafia. Like, this looks terrible. And then as you see the studio, Bleecker Street, man. I can't believe they're still in existence. They have not had a hit. Has Bleecker Street ever had a movie that has more than 10 million in box office? Do they even have one? Like, talk about like down they are just a studio that just can't get it right. Bleecker Street, I am available for you. I will help you find a film that's good. And we will not be releasing things like Mafia Mama. Maybe it's good. I'm just telling. Can I say, we only have a few minutes left in the stream. I want to mention this. I don't have to see every movie, and you guys can't make me see every movie. I don't want to see Mafia Mama. I don't want to see The Pope's Exorcist. I don't want to watch that. That looks. I'm going to let you guys watch it, and if you tell me, it does sound like an Illumination movie. I'll let you tell me, should I see it? I'm not going to waste my time. I sat and I watched paint, and yes, cliche. I should have stayed home and literally painted the wall and watched it dry. It would have been better than the film. I have to have my absolute boundaries, and you guys have pushed me beyond my boundaries too much. It's me. I end up doing it. But I will not see The Pope's Exorcist. I will not. I don't care how many super chats you bring me. There's no amount of money that'll make me watch. That trailer looks fucking terrible. My God, so did that Mafia Mama. It just looks cringy. Oh, you can't say that as a guy. Whoever said on Twitter, don't say cringy. Okay, grammar police. How about you stay in your lane? We need more people that stay in their lane. I know they did. They made. It's a good film. I just lost my. Damn it! My seltzer water spilled. Listen, they made Art of Self-Defense, and it's a very good film. I'm not suggesting that they haven't had a few good films, but they have not had a hit. Has Bleecker Street had one hit in their career? Did they have even? Oh, did they do Mass? Oh my God, Mass! What a drag of a film. You know what was great about Mass? Nothing, first of all. But what was fantastically entertaining was all of the film Twitter people that speak for nobody saying, they have their own little, like, they live in this own, like, the same people that recommend these tiny little art house films that are not for everybody. Now, How to Blow Up a Pipeline is an art house film, but it is much more accessible than a typical art house film. I would not send just anybody to go see that film. That film, most art house films. In this case, I would suggest that How to Blow Up a Pipeline is much more accessible, and from a filmmaking perspective, you need to see it. But Art of Self-Defense is good, but I'm just saying, what movie have they distributed exactly? They're distributors, I get it. No, I will not see Mafia Mom. I can't. I don't want to. Exactly, Tucker. I don't want to see that either. The Pope's Exorcist, I don't want to see it. Jeff, send me your rates for script. I should. Send it to me, Jeff. I'll look at it, and then I'll charge you. I'll see if, you know what I'll do? Let me look at the script, and then I'll say, here's what I'll do. After I look at it, then if I have something that's really good, I'll say, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I have something that's really good note here, but it's going to cost you per note. Bigger Street has, yeah, exactly. No, I just film fan. I respectfully disagree. Mass. It's not that Mass is a bad film, but who wants to sit inside of a locked room with parents of shooter? Right, the one parent, the set of parents, the shooter, and the other parents, the victim of a school shooting. Now, I understand that not every movie is supposed to be a fun Ant-Man 3. But Mass was a drag. And it also was the same thing over and over. They just get in there and start yelling. It's like, it's too long. It's too long. It needs to be 120. That movie is it's not a bad movie. It's just not something that was very enjoyable to watch. Now, I know it's not supposed to be. I get it. Every movie has a place. There's certain films, like a Hereditary, is not enjoyable to watch. Hereditary makes you feel like hell. Hereditary is like, the point of the film is that when you leave, you're like, my God, my faith in humanity is shaken. I remember talking to Paul Walter Hauser. He said he didn't even finish it. He felt so shitty watching it, but he also respected the film, right? By the way, Paul Walter Hauser's like really smart movie guy. I miss him on Twitter. I have a feeling Paul Walter Hauser's on Twitter. He just has an alias. Like, that's the way to do it. If you're an actor, I would actually still be on there and talk about things, but I wouldn't use my name, because then you have to get into all the politics. Because remember, we said, like Chris Steckman, right? Once you cross the line into actor, director, whatever, you can't be critical of other actor directors. I have a director who follows me on Twitter who sends me direct messages all the time, or a lot, okay? And almost every time it's like, I can't say this in public. And I'm like, well, I get it, because you don't know who you're going to be working with next, right? If you say Netflix sucks for not being theatrical, then all of a sudden your next film's with Netflix, and you want a payday, so you can't. I get it. And trust me, by the way, anytime that someone slides into my DMs, anytime, anybody, it never is revealed. I'm an old school journalist like that. The sources are never revealed. Like, what's the point of that? I mean, I just told you I didn't say who it was. You can look. I have a lot of directors that follow me, but you don't know who it is. And I wouldn't tell you even if I was. I haven't even told Gore. I tell Gore a lot of things, but there's times that I don't want to hang out with Gore. I mean, actually, it's most of the time. All right, 2-minute warning. 2-minute. Hereditary, some community. Yeah, okay. There's a little bit. Okay. Simu. Yeah, remember when he got all loud on there and exactly. It's a dangerous. Yeah, John Carpenter. Also, we said, listen, we'll end the stream like this. There's a few people that'll go out of their way to be critical of Hollywood, and what happens? They get dragged. Look at what's his ass, who wrote Taxi Driver. I'm literally forgetting his name right now. Just a few weeks ago, remember when he was talking about the Oscars should be about this? Now, you can disagree with him. That's not what the point of when I talked about that tweet. The point is that he has balls to say that in Hollywood. Most of these people don't want to do that because they don't want to have their meal ticket disappear. I get it. It's the same reason most critics are afraid to savage films, because they're afraid that the studio's not going to invite them to the next movie. And to that I say, so what? I'll see it on Thursday when it comes out, and we'll talk about it then, because frankly, that's when you're going to see it. So if we're talking about the movie like 2 months before it opens, you guys are like, what? Now, granted, you got to give me a like for this, because this is true. Paul Schrader, thank you. Here's the thing. You have to give me a like for this, because I think there's nobody in this space better at discussing a film with 0% of the film revealed. We don't do spoilers. I just told you about How to Blow Up a Pipeline. We talked about some real, around the outside just discussion about it. We didn't talk about the actual film. Like, how many of these reviews do you watch on this channel on YouTube? And someone's like, and then it starts like this. No, that's not a review. A review is essentially, does the movie work? What's good? What's bad? Do you recommend it? It's tight. It's not all this in scene one. No. Now, if there's something in the plot that's a major problem, like in Iron Man 3, when they cut off the Mandarin's balls, when they cut his cock off, then and the balls, and he becomes trans. Forget it. I can't. If you got just, whatever. I don't care. I just don't care. It's a joke, everybody. Can you believe it? When that happens, then that is going to be part of the review. But if it's something like How to Blow Up a Pipeline, if it's something like even Babylon, I didn't get into the details. I just told you the film doesn't work because tonally, it is a shit show of epic proportions. It is all over the map, like someone who was directing it was on crack cocaine. That's what it was like. But I didn't tell you anything about the movie. You can still go watch it. But now when you watch Babylon, you'll be like, my God, was Chazelle on crack? That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to go in. It's not it's just a quick, this is what's up. I didn't watch the Indy 5 trailer. I'll see it in the theater. I'm not going to watch trailers here, but I know you guys I didn't see it. I can tell you this. Here's what I'll say. The first Indy trailer that I watched in theaters, and I did watch it online because I saw it in theaters first, so technically, I was not that impressed. I think James Mangold is a very strong director. As much as I don't think Logan's a great film. I think there's elements of Logan I really like the scene where Professor loses it, right, and everything's shaking, whatever you want to call it, the seizure scene. That's really strong. And then, of course, Hugh Jackman. But the villain in that film is terrible, and this actually is perfect how to bring it in. Who is the villain in this film, too? Boy, Mangold, Mangold didn't get the memo because Holbrook is not menacing in Logan. And now I watched the first trailer for Indy and I'm like, oh my God, there he is again, Holbrook. I don't know if that was a good call, right? I don't know. It's weird how sometimes directors see something totally different because when I watch Logan, I say, man, I wish I could recast Holbrook now and get somebody else in that role. He's like, when he does it, he's like leaning into it too much, like being the bad guy, right? Come here, man, I'm gonna get you. It's like, no, just throw it away. Back to the acting lesson. Throw it away. Just do it in a menacing way. Have your character do something. And I remember I haven't watched Logan since 2017. Was that the year? But I remember this. I'm almost positive, because I don't remember it. Does he do anything to establish that he is a nasty badass? Not that I remember. You have to have your villain do something villainous. You have to have them cut off the cock of somebody. That's right. Yeah, Mads will be great, but not, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, Babylon was an agonizing missed opportunity. Jeff, 100%. It's a great movie to be made about. Yeah, no, this is the perfect thing, Jeff. This is the perfect comment to end. This is exactly the number one thing that is the most disappointing in any review and film that you sit through. The film that it could have been versus the film that you get. And no film better represents that than Babylon. Damien Chazelle had every opportunity with who he had in Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt to make something special about the silent film era, and it has threads of greatness in it, and it's surrounded by the flaming dumpster fire. And that is the crime of Babylon. That is the crime of Super Mario Brothers. When you have a film and an opportunity to make a film that could have been great, and you end up, in Mario's case, with mediocre, and in Babylon's case, with terrible. That is the most disappointing part about film evaluation and watching any film. So tonight, I say to you, that's the takeaway. We don't want to hate a film, but we hate being disappointed by films. And a great example of a film that does not disappoint, to flip it and keep it positive as we wrap here on the Sunday night. Thanks for being here, by the way. Please like, subscribe. I'm sure you already have. But if you haven't, do it. Homework tonight, one more time, is this. John Wick 4 is the perfect example of a film that goes way beyond your expectations. So you come in expecting this and you get this. Babylon is you come expecting this and you get this. We want to be in the other situation. We want the reality to be, that, not 50 feet of crap down, right? Moneyball. Okay. Homework tonight. How to blow up a pipeline. If you really want to and you're into torturing yourself, you need to watch Paint. Don't go to the theater. Don't spend money on it unless you have an A-list. Do not waste your money. But you will see the difference between two films, one well-directed and one horribly directed, within the span of, as I saw, 24 hours. Thanks again for being here, guys. The show's over. We're back here more than likely Thursday. I promise to update the community tab if we have some kind of breaking news, something big that happens during the week. But this week's kind of slow. We have Renfeld coming out. We have Ari Aster's new one, Beau is Afraid. I have a feeling that's going to go south. By the way, interesting, A24 has not sent a single screening availability for that film to me. That tells me that they know this film is not great. They are very much aware that Beau is Afraid is not a great film, and I'm telling you, on Thursday night, get ready, because we could be on the verge of another whale, of another Babylon, of another cocaine bear, of another gray man when we talk about Beau is Afraid. Thursday night here on MMT. Everyone, thanks for being here. It was a pleasure as always. Really, truly. I really appreciate your support and your viewership here on MMT. Good night. Live from Los Angeles, Erick Weber saying so long.